All right, what's up everyone? It is Coach Jen here, CEO and head coach of Genmall Fitness and the Fit and Fulfilled team, and I am so excited to chat with you guys today. Today we are going to be answering questions from my Instagram, and where we have gotten these from is I put up a Q&A sticker where anybody could ask me questions and I was going to give you free fitness and nutrition advice. So that being said, if you want to go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram, my Instagram is Jen, that is JENNWALL Wall Fitness, and that is where you'll find me and all the educational topics that I post for your health and your fitness journey so you can achieve your goals. So in no particular order, let's go ahead and dive in. So the first question for today is, what is progressive overload? Progressive overload is the intentional increase in reps, sets, weight that you use, or let's even say like the time under tempo, as that would be overload as well too, how much tension you're putting on that muscle. It's done to provide a stimulus that is unfamiliar to your muscles, to help your muscles understand that, hey, we need to get stronger to improve in this activity. And so with that unfamiliar stimulus, your body will adapt to it by getting stronger. So the way that we most often see progressive overload is usually in strength training. Most commonly people will do it in terms of how many reps they can perform with a weight, and then eventually they will up the weight with that same amount of reps. So an example of this would be if you can do 10-pound bicep curls for 8 reps. An example would be that you want to be able to do that 10 pounds for 8 reps, 9 reps, 10, 12 reps, and then typically at like 12 reps or so, somebody will increase the weight. So maybe instead of 10 pounds, now they're doing 12 and a half or 15 pounds, and they may start over at like 5, 6, 7, or 8 reps. So that is an example of progressive overload. Okay, the next question is, how long should workouts be? So workouts can be between 30 and 90 minutes. That's what we typically find to be best. Out of my personal experience, I find that 30-minute workouts are usually at the end of the day, crunch time for me. I'm trying to get it done before the gym closes. And so that's typically what happens is I go in, I do about 3 to 4 exercises, and I do about 3 to 4 exercises and then I'm done. And because I'm very intentional about like, okay, I'm crunched on time, I need to get through my sets, no messing around, and you know, I only have 3 or 4 exercises I can do, I will typically give it my all during that 30 minutes, and I have the best workouts. I go up to 90 minutes whenever I maybe have like a heavier leg day, whenever I don't feel like I need to be rushed, or whenever I'm just, you know, it's a weekend and I have like, you know, free time, and I do really enjoy being in the gym, so I may be there for about 90 minutes or so. But that being said, typically for our clients, we typically program out at an average about 45 minutes in the gym. So if you can get into the gym 4 days a week at 45 minutes, that's 3 hours spent in the gym each week. So that's how we typically do it for our clients. If you find yourself spending a ton of hours in the gym, you're probably overdoing it, and I would find out where you have like junk sets in there, or maybe too many exercises, etc., maybe junk reps, but typically you're doing a little too much and it's not necessary for you to do that in order to achieve results. Okay, so next question is, I can only train 3 days a week. Would you suggest full body workouts? That's a great question. So your programming is really going to be dependent, kind of like on the last question that we just did. Your programming is really going to be dependent on your schedule. So if you can only do 3 days a week, that's fine. And then mostly when it comes to your programming, it really has to do with what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? And then also, how well do you recover? So that being said, your days per week and what they look like when you go into the gym, they can be like 3 full body days. It can be an upper pull, upper push, and a lower body. It can be an upper, a lower, and a total body. It really depends on your schedule and how well you recover. So that would be something to consider. I will go ahead and put down a link below for a post on an example of workout splits that you can do for 3, 4, or 5 days a week. Whew, we are going through this pretty fast, and fortunately, like I said, my cat might jump up here, but he seems to have moved off. Okay, how long does a restoration phase last? So if you guys are not familiar, a restoration phase for our company and for our team is actually a full phase that most other teams and companies do not have. And so restoration phase covers a lot. It can cover, you know, restoring your gut health. It can also cover like optimizing your metabolism. Maybe you've been, you know, under eating for so long that you actually need to put your metabolism in a better place because it's adapted negatively. I wouldn't say negatively, but it works in your benefit. So it's just adapted not in your favor for weight loss. And then along with that too, hormones. Sometimes hormones are just not in the best place, and so we try to help clients support them in recovering, you know, their hormonal balance. So that being said, a restoration phase can be as long as it needs to be. Typically, I like to see a restoration phase for clients between 8 to 12 weeks, meaning that, you know, they get up to where they need to be, and then being able to hold them there to make sure that, hey, they and their body know that it's safe for them to be here. That way, before we bring them into their transformation phase, which can be the cut, the bulk, or the recomposition phase, whatever it may be, before we bring them into that they're ready for it. So typically between 8 to 12 weeks for that restoration phase. Now, this is if you are somebody who's going through a restoration phase, but you're not being as diligent or consistent with it. This is where things can go wrong and why it might take longer. So something that we see, especially with our clients, when we go through that restoration phase, we're really trying to optimize their metabolism, and the client is just too scared to, let's say, eat more calories or cut back on their training and their exercises amount per week, or not willing to reduce their cardio, or maybe they're not catching on to other things. When they're having a hard time just following through with protocols, they're not actually, you know, completing their restoration phase. Or that's like giving your student, you know, hey, you have to read these 10 pages, and just because the assignment is there, just because you're in that restoration phase, doesn't mean it's done unless the student actually reads those pages, or unless the client actually goes through and does the protocol. So please, if you are somebody who goes through a restoration phase, do not be shy or you know, not consistent. Do not be inconsistent with the restoration phase. But that being said, how we know when to end that restoration phase is whenever we get good biofeedback. Whenever we see that, whenever we get good biofeedback and we see that, like, hey, the body is responding like positively to everything, and we feel confident that you are ready to go into that transformation phase, which is next. Okay, okay, so my willpower is, and my effort attitude is up during my period. Is this normal or no? Well, yes, that's totally normal. And it goes both for willpower with food or workouts. I'm not for sure what this person meant when they sent this. At the end of the day, it's about giving it your best at any given time. So, you know, some days we know we may have like high stress at work, and other days we may be like low-key chilling. It's the weekend, we can just, you know, feel like we can give it our all and everything. Same thing whenever it comes to that menstrual cycle and our period. That's not fun for women to go through for the most part. Some people, you know, get through it seamlessly and they're like, oh, no big deal, we're rocking and rolling. Other people get terrible PMS that may feel debilitating. So that being said, when it comes to willpower, when it comes to workouts, what I like to do is just show up. You can show up to the gym, you can walk on the treadmill, you can try doing your warm-up, you can try doing your first set. As long as you showed up and you gave it some effort, you know, maybe your mindset or maybe how you feel will improve. And typically also on that heavier day of lifting that you have, let's say it's like a leg day, I try to keep my leg days away from my heaviest period day. So that being said, I usually do upper body whenever I'm like on my first or second day, and then from there I can do legs later in the week. And then when it comes to food, if it's your willpower, do not try to fight the cravings. You're gonna have cravings maybe for chocolate or salt, something sweet, things like that. Don't try to fight the cravings, give into it. You can, you know, plan out, you know, that whole slice of cake if that's something that you want, or maybe you're into donuts, or maybe it's like literally just chocolate. But don't try to fight it. The more that you try to fight it and restrict it, the more that you're going to crave it and probably overconsume it, and that's no good. So what I like to do is I like to focus on like high volume fruits, like mangoes, strawberries, things like that. And then if you want something like salty, I typically try to do like popcorn with maybe like light salt. And then also something that I love is like pretzels. So I might do that. And then last but not least, like chocolate. Just make sure that you like get yourself what you need so you're not restricting it and depriving yourself, okay? Awesome, okay. All right, so the next question is, do you need to do cardio in order to lose fat? And the answer is no. The reason the answer is no is because at the end of the day, you lose fat via calorie deficit, and you don't need to do cardio in order to achieve that. But the way that cardio can be helpful for you is that if you are doing cardio, you can burn a few extra calories throughout the day, which can give you a few extra calories to eat. So for example, let's say that you're somebody whose total daily energy expenditure per day, how many calories that you burn per day, is 2,000, and you are not doing any cardio, but you need to decrease your calories, let's say by 500, in order to lose weight and be in a calorie deficit. That means you need to eat 1,500 calories. Now let's say instead that your total daily energy expenditure is 2,000, but you do cardio daily, or you do cardio daily, let's say daily, and let's say you do, let's say 3 miles of running, and 1 mile of running typically burns about 100 calories. That means you're burning an extra 300 calories. So now your total daily energy expenditure is 2,300 calories per day. And if you still need to decrease your calories by 500 to be in a calorie deficit, then you get to eat 1,800 calories per day. So that being said, when it comes to cardio can just allow you to have more room for more food throughout the day. So instead of trying to stick to 1,500 calories, which can be pretty hard, now you can stick to 1,800 calories and still see, let's say, hopefully the same results. This is all theoretical, but that's basically the gist of it, is it just allows you to eat more calories per day and still stay in a calorie deficit because you're burning more calories throughout the day doing cardio. But cardio doesn't necessarily help you burn more calories to lose fat. So just by doing cardio, you're not going to lose fat. You still need to be in that calorie deficit. Oh, and then going right along with this too, we have another question about cardio, which is fasted cardio. Is it better for fat loss or not? At the end of the day, as long as you're in a calorie deficit, again, then you're going to lose weight, fasted or not fasted. There are studies out there that show that fasted cardio does help burn a little bit more body fat, or fat in general, for fuel. But that being said, you can burn all the fat that you want, but if you overconsume any type of food, carbs, proteins, or fats, you will gain fat back. So at the end of the day, it's a calorie deficit. That's what matters. The difference between burning fat from fasted cardio or non-fasted cardio is negligible. So I wouldn't worry too much about planning out your meals around, or planning your cardio around whenever you're fasted or not fasted. What's the first thing I should focus on starting? Okay, so considering that most of the women that we work with are wanting to lose weight and lose fat specifically and gain muscle, I'm going to answer this question in that manner, or just in the manner of a health and fitness journey with an emphasis on size or body composition, fat and muscle. So that being said, what you should focus on first is what's going to get you the most bang for your buck. Or also, maybe both, what is going to be the easiest for you to tackle. So let's say you're somebody who eats out every single day and it's fast food, but you do a really good job at working out. I would say what's going to get you the most bang for your buck is, if you don't necessarily need to start tracking your calories, maybe you just need to change your food choices. So maybe instead of eating fast food 3 meals a day, maybe you cut back to 2 meals and you make a home cooked meal. Or, and then from there, maybe you go from 2 meals to 1 meal. And then from there, you go down to completely like eating out at home, or more whole foods in general throughout your day. So that's one thing, that's one example in terms of getting the most bang for your buck. Everything there really just tells you that, hey, your nutrition is the reason you're not seeing results. On the other hand, maybe you're somebody who doesn't work out, but you eat really well, then I would start incorporating workouts. Maybe, and again, make this as easy as possible for you. So this is an easy one. So they work out really well, but they're not seeing the body composition results that they want to see. They're not losing the fat or gaining the muscle. They're just unchanged. I would start getting into the gym. Maybe that means getting into the gym and walking on the treadmill. Maybe that means getting into the gym and doing 1 day per week. Maybe that will eventually go to 2 days per week. But I wouldn't go from 0 to 100 super fast. I wouldn't say like, okay, here, we need you in the gym 5 days a week, get it done. Especially if they may have a busy work schedule, etc. So whatever's going to get you the most bang for your buck, what is that one thing that you can change that's going to get you dramatic results? And then what is that thing that you can do, but with the easiest point of entry? I'm going to go ahead and finish the last question here and save the others for another Q&A day. So that being said, the last question here is actually going to be, how do I know if I need labs done / have hormonal issues? If you do have hormonal issues, most likely you'll feel it. You'll definitely feel it. Reason for this is hormones determine everything that basically goes on our body. It is the communicator for one part of our body to another. So hormones are necessary, and they do trigger, they are signalers to let our body know like, hey, this is what needs to be done. So that being said, if you have negative biofeedback, that's probably an indicator that your hormones are not in a good place. So what we need to do there, for example, let's say this. You're somebody who's in menopause or perimenopause and you're getting hot flashes. That's like how you know that's negative biofeedback. You don't feel good, it doesn't feel good. So you will definitely have like symptoms. So that being said, what we need to do from there, in order to make sure that we know for sure, hey, do you have hormonal issues, is to either get labs done or make a lifestyle change. What I typically like to do when I see this is most things are controlled through lifestyle and nutrition, and we can even do supplementation to kind of help, because supplementation kind of helps with nutrition or recovery. So that being said, we can try lifestyle changes first. So let's say you do have hot flashes, we might go with black cohosh to help with that, and if that does help, then we're probably good. So we can do like, hey, this will help. Or we can do like a lifestyle change. So let's say that you're having really hard time sleeping, but we take a look at your lifestyle and you're drinking like 5 cups of coffee throughout the day. We would decrease the amount of coffee that you're drinking, and then hopefully that allows you to go to sleep and stay asleep at night as well. So what I would try is a lifestyle change first. If these things are not helping via lifestyle change, then I would say let's go get some labs done, and then from the labs we can see what's going on there. The hard part about this is that most doctors will not do the full lab workup in order to really see what's going on. So even when labs do look normal, they may not actually be optimal. So that being said, that's why I try lifestyle changes first in order to see if we can help you based off of symptoms, because if you're having symptoms, that is definitely a signal to us to let us know like, hey, there's something wrong. So that being said, again, I would do lifestyle change first, and then if possible, if we have to, go to your doctor, review the labs, and then come back and make lifestyle changes based off of what we see on the labs as well too. Lifestyle changes, I mean workouts, recovery, nutrition, all of that, daily routine, those can be lifestyle changes. And then I will put a disclaimer in here just because I have to and because I want to. We are not medical practitioners in any way. We are not giving medical advice. We do not diagnose anybody or treat anybody for diseases or conditions. We're just simply here to give our insight of like, hey, this is what we know. You can take this information, have a conversation with your doctor, make sure that if we do suggest anything that your doctor is in agreement with it before we move forward. That way everything is overseen by your doctor. But that being said, that is the end of the Q&A for today. So I am very thankful that you guys tuned in for this. If you have more questions or you want more insight on your health and fitness journey, please feel free to DM me on Instagram or leave a comment down below here for me to answer any of your questions. And if you want to see more, please follow me on Instagram. Again, my Instagram is Jen Wall Fitness. That is JENNWALL Fitness. And I am so happy that you could join me, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.